Houston Quilt Show. We are on the main floor with Kathy Wylie, who has won a huge prize, Master Award for Traditional Artistry. Excuse the noise, there's something going on in the area behind us. We don't know exactly what it is, so we're going to try to talk really loud so you can hear what we're having to say. Tell us about this spectacular quilt, because it's got a lot of elements in it that nobody has seen before.
Sure, I'd be happy to. This is my quilt, Beauty in the Broken, and I was setting out to make a quilt, an applique quilt with holes in it. So I thought that the applique could represent the beauty and the holes would be the broken. And the whole concept being beauty in the broken, that there's just these beautiful moments that we only experience because we're going through a hard time. So that's where I started. But I didn't know how to make an applique quilt with holes in it. I only knew about cut work, which was very limiting because I would have one piece of fabric with holes in it,
right,
and I wanted applique with holes in it. So through a process of elimination, of experimentation, really, I realized that instead of cutting fabric, instead of taking fabric away, what if I made my applique and joined them together and just not have a background at all? And that's how this came to be. So if you can imagine,
all right, so
that
hold that
every
down.
piece is its own little quilt. So the front applique has been cut out, turned to an interfacing template. The back has been cut out and turned to an interfacing template.
And there are teeny, tiny little stitches around this whole little piece.
Yeah, and there's batting in here too. So
And
there's
batting.
actually 5 layers, all whip stitched along here, with little joining bits, so that when this quilt, or this little piece, gets sewn into there, I can put that little piece inside here, and I can put that piece inside there.
And you, what kind of glasses did you wear for that process? Because that would
my
certainly
strongest reading glasses.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
really the hardest part was what I thought of in my head as thread management, because if you know about doing applique, traditional applique, you're working on a flat surface. But with this type of applique, you're working in the air. So you've got these threads and all kinds of places that they can get wrapped around. So I had to be really paying attention to where my threads were going as I was doing this whip stitching.
And so, speaking of thread, I'm assuming that you wanted the thinnest thread you could get and the finest, so that you didn't have it as visible, because it's very tiny stitching.
Well,
that's
I
here.
tried. Yeah, I mean, I used the same thread that I used for applique. So
Yeah.
it's a 50 weight 2-ply cotton.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So nothing unusual in
Nothing
that.
unusual about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is where we started here in this, but then now we have more holes, but that's different.
This is like a thread lace insertion. So I did that with free motion sewing on a water soluble stabilizer. So I just went over and over, building up layers and layers of thread. And then when I was done, I dissolved it in water, and I was able to insert it in these cut out areas here.
As well as
In here, and there's a little bit in there as well.
in here. And so this is
Yeah.
almost like knit or crochet, but it's all done on the machine.
On the machine, it's just building up 5 to 6 layers of thread.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Okay, and so, but wait, there's more. That wasn't enough. Now we have, we've seen binding that comes out a little bit, but now you've added this whole element, which is a repeat here.
It is, and really it started here. I came up with this and thought, okay, this is working. I can use this technique for the whole body of the quilt. So if you really notice, this shape is exactly the same as this shape. It just has a different center in it. Yes.
So did you get to that point where you're out on the border and then you cut a hole in the quilt, or was it you were starting with the outer part?
This is constructed piece by piece, leaving nothing behind.
Okay.
This is a hole cut in the front,
But then
back.
also, yeah.
This is no holes cut out. It's just what's left behind.
So for a lot of people, when they're looking at this, they don't realize that it's not actually, the background isn't actually black.
Right.
So can you put your hand behind it so
Yeah.
people can see? You really can see through this quilt.
Oh my God, that is gorgeous.
Isn't that amazing?
And the back is a completely different color scheme than the front. So it's all done in shades of gray. And kind of back to the story of the quilt Beauty and the Broken, the back is kind of the dark side and the front is the bright side.
The dark is just as pretty as the front.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
My husband always says he prefers the back.
Well, this is absolutely spectacular, and congratulations for winning this, because obviously
you.
this is something so innovative that we haven't seen before. So,
Well, it's pretty exciting because I didn't know it was going to work, let alone, I didn't know if it would hang, and I certainly didn't know if it would be strong enough to put in a box and travel to a show. So I'm very happy that it's here.
well, thank you, Kathy Wylie, and we have had her on the show before, so if you want to see some other spectacular work of hers, be sure and check that out. Thank you so much,
Thanks for
and
having me.
congratulations.
Oh.